Most governments develop policies to advance their nations, as well as the quality of life of its citizens. Given that public policy is a byproduct of a political process and is shaped by a range of factors, including the preferences of the public, interest groups, and policymakers, it can be said that political culture can significantly affect and influence public policy choices. In this video, we discuss how political culture can affect and influence public policy choices. We further explain both the strengths and limitations of using political culture as a method of analyzing policy choices. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into today's video by first defining what we mean by the terms political culture. Political culture refers to the shared beliefs, values, and attitudes that shape the behavior and decision-making of people in a society regarding politics and the government. According to an American political scientist, Lucian Pye, political culture is the set of attitudes, beliefs, and sentiments which give order and meaning to a political process, and which provide the underlying assumptions and rules that govern behavior in a political system. This means that political culture is a combination of basic values, feelings, and knowledge of citizens towards their form of government. These cultural factors can influence public opinion, the demands of interest groups, the behavior of policymakers, as well as the broader political environment in which policy decisions are made. In this context, the concept of political culture does not refer to attitudes towards specific actors, such as a president or prime minister, but describes people's views of the political system as a whole and their belief in its legitimacy. Public policy, on the other hand, is a complex and multifaceted process. It is about the interaction of many parties. This includes many companies, interest groups, and individuals competing and working together to influence policymakers to act in a specific way and across a variety of policies. These individuals and groups employ numerous tactics to further their interests. Tactics may include lobbying, publicly voicing their positions, trying to educate supporters and opponents, and mobilizing allies on a particular issue. Most often, policy outcomes are as a result of compromises between various parties. Therefore, there is no such thing as a perfect policy, certainly not one that emerges from a political process. In the next section, we look at the various ways in which political culture can impact and influence policy choices. But before we do that, welcome back to Public Administration 101, proudly brought to you by Kano Consultants. For professional advice you can trust, make sure that you check out our other videos on public administration under this channel. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. You can also support the channel by joining our exclusive channel membership community by clicking on the join button below. Now back to today's video. As indicated, political culture plays an important role in shaping policy choices. Here are a few ways in which political culture can affect and influence policy choices. Political culture can shape the ideological orientation of a society, which in turn influences policy choices. For example, a society with a strong liberal political culture is more likely to support policies that promote individual freedom and rights, such as marriage equality or legalizing marijuana. Political culture also influences public opinion, which can affect policy choices. Public opinion can be shaped by various factors, including media, education, and political leaders. If a political culture values nationalism, for instance, public opinion may be more inclined to support policies that promote national security and sovereignty. Essentially, political culture can influence public opinion and shape the demands of interest groups, which can in turn influence policymakers and the policy choices they make. For example, A political culture that values individual freedom and limited government intervention may result in policies that support lower taxes and less regulation. Political culture can also influence the level of political participation in a society. If a political culture values active citizen engagement, there may be more pressure on policymakers to consider the needs and interests of citizens when making policy decisions. Political culture can also influence policy choices by shaping the values and beliefs of people. For example, if a society values equality and fairness, it is more likely to support policies that address income inequality, or those that provide equal access to education and healthcare. Furthermore, political culture can also shape the behavior and decision-making of policymakers themselves. Policymakers are influenced by their own beliefs, values, and attitudes towards politics and government, which can impact the policies they support and implement. For example, a policymaker from a political culture that values social welfare and income equality may be more inclined to support policies that promote universal healthcare or progressive taxation. In summary, political culture can have a significant impact on public policy choices, shaping public opinion, interest group demands, and policymaker behavior and decision-making. Understanding the cultural context in which policies are developed and implemented is therefore crucial to crafting effective and responsive public policies. Political culture can be used to analyze policy choices. Using political culture as a method of analyzing policy choices has both strengths and limitations. In this next section, we discuss some of the strengths and limitations of using political culture as a method of analyzing policy choices. Let's start with some of the strengths. Political culture provides a comprehensive view of a society's values, beliefs, and attitudes towards politics, which can help policy makers gain a deeper understanding of the public's preferences and expectations. Political culture is also deeply rooted in history and tradition, and therefore offers a long-term perspective on political behavior and decision-making. Political culture can further help promote consensus and cooperation among policymakers by identifying areas of agreement and shared values within a society. Another strength is that political culture can be used to compare and contrast the political systems and policy choices of different countries, thereby providing insights into how cultural differences shape political behavior and policy outcomes. As indicated, here are some of the limitations of using political culture as a method of analyzing policy choices. The first limitation is that political culture is a generalization of a society's values, beliefs, and attitudes towards politics, which may oversimplify cultural diversity and overlook differences within a society. Political culture analysis also tends to be subjective, as it relies on the interpretation and understanding of cultural values, beliefs, and attitudes. Political culture is also difficult to measure quantitatively, making it challenging to assess its impact on policy choices. Lastly, political culture analysis may not always accurately predict political behavior or even policy outcomes, because political cultures can evolve and change over time. Before we continue, we are excited to announce our podcast, Kano Talks. This is where we talk about everything relating to public administration, public management, and public finance. So, if you are interested in the fields of public administration, political science, public finance, and the overall management of the public sector, including the running of government, then make sure you follow us or subscribe to our podcast show on the audio streaming app of your choice. In conclusion, political culture plays an important role in shaping policy choices. By understanding the values, beliefs, and attitudes of a society, policymakers can better anticipate public opinion and tailor policies that reflect the interests and needs of the people they represent. A government's political culture is in a sense its DNA. Political culture does not wholly predetermine policy outcomes, but it does create very powerful tendencies and constraints on which outcomes are possible and likely. This culture does change over time. The most notable examples can be in relations to the attitudes towards ethnic minorities, gay people, and women. However, the majority of changes in public policy take place over time and within bounds, as well as in a form that is essentially predetermined by the political culture. While political culture is a useful method of analyzing policy choices, it should be used with caution, keeping in mind its limitations and potential biases. It is important to recognize the diversity within societies and to use other analytical tools, such as quantitative data, to complement political culture analysis. We've come to the end of this video on how political culture can affect policy choices. So, thank you for watching. Please take time to check out our other videos on public administration and public finance under this channel, where we discuss various topics relating to public administration, public finance, public management, as well as the management of the public sector, including the running of government. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. And remember to turn on the notification button on your phone to make sure that you don't miss out when we post new videos. You can also connect with us by following us on social media at ConsultKano, and continue the conversation by leaving us a comment or tagging us on social media using the hashtag ConsultKano. Thank you again for watching. Join us again next time for another video. Until then, check out these other videos. Kano Consultants. For professional advice you can trust.